What's up, everybody? Well, I got another Steam Deck OLED gameplay video for you guys today, and today we're gonna check out some Starfield. Quite a few people have asked to see a little bit more of that. I know I used a little bit in the games that don't play well, unsupported games, but a lot of people want to see more than a minute or two of gameplay, so I figure screw it. I'll do what I did in my other videos. We'll go hop in, run around town for a little while, and then we'll go outside and hop around outside too. Now, I'm warning you guys, this game does not run very good, and I personally probably would not play this game on the Steam Deck. But you'd be surprised how many people are playing this and stuff like Hogwarts Legacy on this thing. I was seeing Steam did something like Steam Rewind or something like that, and it showed what all the people were playing. And dude, lots of people were playing. I think that it was third or fourth on Steam Deck, and I think second was fucking Hogwarts Legacy or some nonsense. And I was like, damn, that's another game I didn't think ran that great on there. But hey, a lot of people are just happy to be able to play in the palm of their hand. They don't care about drops under 30 FPS like I do. But that's just me. That's why I'm glad I do these videos, and then everybody can see how it runs and they can make their own informed decision, you know? But anyway, enough blabbing. Let's go hop into the game, take a look at the settings, and then we'll get ourselves a teensy bit of gameplay. Well, alright. Let's go ahead and look at the settings that we're going to try to run here. Now, I tried everything on low before the previous video, and it still got horrid FPS, pretty much equal to the same FPS we're getting right now, so I decided to throw a couple of things up to medium. But even if you put everything on low, it doesn't really change the FPS too awful much. But in any case, those are the settings we're going to run, and now let's go get ourselves a little bit of some gameplay. Alright, here we are in the game, and as you can see, we can't even hit 30 FPS, at least when we're in the city. But it's not too much better outside the city, really. And it does drop into the teens here and there.
I actually met a guy who finished the Red Mile.
But I figured since it gets horrible FPS anyway, might as well make it look just a teensy tiny bit less terrible. But it really doesn't even look that bad on the actual Steam Deck screen itself. When you blow it up to 4K like this, then yeah, it's not going to look pretty. But at the same time, I just like doing it this way, showing you guys what it's like screen recorded, and then popping it over to a little camera. And we'll do basically walk around in here a little bit, and then we'll go run around outside too. We want to get both aspects, you know?
I know your type. Free wheeling spaces.
But yeah, unfortunately this game just seems to be a little bit outside of the Steam Deck's spec zone. Even the Ally struggles a little bit with this game. If you want to stay over 30 FPS most of the time, you have to put everything on low at 720p. And even then it still drops down under every once in a while, but not tuning too extreme. I saw a 27 or a 28. So instead I went with settings that were more akin to 25, 26 FPS in town, kind of like this is getting in some places, but a lot of times this goes down in the 20s as you saw, so Ally still does better even with 900p settings and higher settings than this. And that's okay, you'd kind of expect that. The Ally is the more powerful of the two, and this game is very CPU intensive, and the Ally does have a much more powerful CPU. Not only does it have more cores, not that cores matter a lot for gaming, as long as you've got at least a decent amount. The Steam Deck obviously could use a little more, but I mean at least it's still a quad core with hyper-threading, so it acts like it's got 8. So, better than nothing. But the Ally is an 8-core, 16-thread CPU. And funny enough, it has higher single-core score than my actual G15 laptop. And the multi-core score is pretty damn even too, if I remember when I tested it. I think the Ally still wins a little, or is a teensy bit behind in multi-core compared to the G15, but has stronger single-core though. Makes sense though, it's a 7000 series CPU, and even though it's a low power one, it's still quite a bit of I almost died. I almost jumped over that edge back there, looked, and I was like, ooh, that's a big drop. Anyway, I was gonna keep saying something. Oh yeah, I was gonna continue with the Ally seems to have like the more powerful CPU, so therefore this game does run just a little bit better. Since this game's so CPU intensive. Obviously it's GPU intensive too, but it's still very CPU intensive too. I mean, we're sitting in the 80s and 90s% of our CPU, and our GPU is pretty pegged at 100 most of the time, but there are some points where it drops under 100. But that's like that on every computer. I've never seen any computer I like play this game and stay at 100% usage the entire time. Obviously, my desktops are closer, but to doing that. But even sometimes in some cities, it still drops.
Hardly walk 2 steps without you.
Your ship's not half bad.
No, it's not. It's a pretty damn boss ship, if you ask me.
Word to the wise, avoid the stress. This is action.
If you're looking for a sidearm, I recommend Laredo's firearm bench.
Yeah, I probably should get some guns besides just melee, just in case. That way I don't have to just, like, die over and over again. Oh yeah, and as you can probably tell with a game like this, not only does it not run super great, you don't get that much battery life either. We started this out at almost 100%. And you only get like 2 hours and some change of battery. But still better than the old Steam Deck would have done. The old Steam Deck would have struggled to even get 2 hours. It probably would have been like, let's see, if I remember correctly, I tested it a little bit. And I think according to the estimated running time, it most of the time was saying like an hour and 40 minutes. Or something like that. So it's not like, oh my god, night and day difference, but that's still an extra amount of time that you do not get with the original. That and like indie games and whatnot, it gets quite a bit more battery life. I think the OLED screen helps out a lot. Plus they did a lot of other little things in the background. You know, like more efficient CPU, faster running, more efficient RAM. And believe it or not, this is actually quad channel memory. The Ally is only dual. But I think the Ally has about the same speed RAM. Actually, no, I think it has a little faster RAM. Now I think about it. I'd have to look up that one. I never really looked. Anyway, though, let's move on to a little camera, shall we? Alright, now for some camera recorded gameplay. And like I said, now during this app, we'll go outside and see what kind of FPS we get outside cities and whatnot. So, yeah, we can't quite hit a constant even 30 in this game. Like, even with everything on low, I couldn't. So that's why I decided, well, let's just start dicking around with different settings, and maybe we don't have to have everything on low if it's not really going to make that big of a difference anyway, and make it at least look okay, versus just completely like garbage. But no matter what, you get drops down to like 8 FPS and 15 FPS, even with everything on low. So that's why I decided, well, might as well make it look a tiny bit better than absolute garbage. Because obviously the game does not look super fantastic with lots of these settings on low, because the game doesn't look that great to begin with. Even with everything maxed out, the game looks okay, and only okay. But yeah, unfortunately for me, this game is just a little too much for the Steam Deck, but there are a lot of people out there that probably find this just fine. And then we have to think, like, hey, a Switch couldn't even do this. Couldn't play at all. It wouldn't even launch. But for good reason. They'd go, huh, we can't run this thing at playable settings, so let's not make this game for this system. I mean, we've all seen what the Mortal Kombat 1 looked like on the Switch. And that was pretty terrible. So yes, it got 60 in the fights, but at what cost? Damn, that game looked like almost like a freaking PlayStation 2 game at times. I know a lot of people say that, and then like are like way underselling the graphics of a thing. Like I see so many people saying some games look like PS3 games, and it's like, dude, I don't think you remember what games look like on the PS3. I've been gaming since the Genesis, so I can actually remember what all these different systems look like. Still though, the fact that I can even somewhat play a game like this in the palm of my hands is pretty cool. It'd be nice if one day we could at least get like powerful enough handhelds to get like, you know, some medium settings at 720p. I'm not ever expecting, you know, 4K, 60 FPS on a tiny little handheld. That's just a pipe dream. Because as I've explained in other videos, anytime something like a Steam Deck, let's say, for example, would get powerful enough to play some of today's games at 4K 60. Well, okay, well what happens when new games come out? Anytime new games come out, well now it can't anymore. Just like my 4090. When that thing first came out, there wasn't like a single game that it couldn't play, like basically maxed out with 60 FPS, native 4K. Nowadays, I have to turn on a bunch of friggin' shit like DLSS, sometimes even frame gen, just to get like a decent FPS. Not that frame gen really helps that much, but when you're getting at least 60-ish FPS, it helps a tiny bit. But if you're getting like this, like if I turn frame gen on right now, it would not make this feel super smooth and playable all of a sudden. It would probably be saying we're getting like 40 FPS instead, or maybe even 50, but it would still feel like the same 25 FPS. At least the input lag isn't absolutely terrible. I've played some games where it's like, move, 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 you know? Those are basically unplayable. Jesus, Misty, you scared the hell out of me. She's got this box that she plays in, one of my old boxes from my air purifiers. And sometimes she just goes in there and starts digging in there. And it's completely quiet because I turn the TV off and stuff, obviously, when I make these camera recorded gameplay videos, just because, well, I'm sure you guys don't want to just listen to a bunch of whatever the hell I'm listening to in the background, and then I'll probably get copyright struck anyway. If I was watching like some tech video, and then the algorithm would probably think, oh, he tried to insert that into his video, and that's not his work. And, of course, a game like this is only going to get you about 2 hours of gameplay, since it's got to work really hard. GPU's pegged at 100%, and the CPU is also getting up into the 90s. I think that's mainly the main problem. Mainly the main problem. I think the main problem is the CPU in this thing is just a little too weak for a game like this. I'm going to try the Ally next, and I'm not really expecting the Ally to do much better. And I'm pretty sure I've done this game on the Ally already, but that was back when it like first kind of launched. What happened to him? I don't remember fucking him up. Did he get in a fight with something? Okay, well where is that something? Because if it appears, I'm going to have to be all like... But then I'm going to die, because melee in this game doesn't really work in your favor very well. At least not for me. Maybe I'm just doing something wrong. I just figured I'd try something different in my new game plus. So, trying melee out. There we go. But even though things are working hard, at least we're only in the 70s for temps. My other Steam Deck right now would probably be in the high 80s, like pegging at 88, 89, sometimes even touching 90 sometimes. All while being way louder. So they did a lot of extra little stuff in the background of this Steam Deck to make it just extra nice. Now don't get me wrong, I wish it could have a little bit more power to play games like this, but I didn't get my Steam Deck to play games like this in the first place. I'm just doing this because people ask me. But anyway, I think that's plenty of camera recorded gameplay, so why don't we go ahead and go wrap this video on up. Well, alright guys, that's a wrap for Starfield on the Steam Deck OLED, and it kinda plays the game a little bit. I would consider that basically unplayable, but hey, at least it runs, and we could play for 10 minutes, well, more like 12 minutes, and no crashes, you know, or anything like that. The Steam Deck didn't just randomly restart or shut down or nothing like that. So if you really wanted to try the game out, this was your only system, and what you saw here was okay with you, then go for it. But I feel like most people are gonna be on my side here and think, Steam Deck's a little too weak to be playing a game like that. But hey, you've got the video here, so now you can make your own informed decisions. You can even try putting everything on low, but unless there's something up with my Steam Deck, I put everything down to low and we were getting almost the exact same frame rates. Like maybe we would have gotten 1 FPS better, but I figured screw it. If it's already getting way under 30 FPS most of the time, let's at least make it look decent-ish instead of just absolutely like garbage. I mean, it looks real bad blown up in the screen recorded portion. That's why I always come and do the camera recorded portion too, so you guys can see more realistically what it looks like on the Steam Deck screen. 720p blown up on any kind of monitor that's not small and tiny is not gonna look good on anything. Just like when you try to play Switch games. Like I try to play Switch games on my 77-inch OLED TV. Doesn't look that great, even with all the AI upscaling trying to help the image quality look better. You know, it just doesn't look great. But anyway, that's besides the point. Point is, we got the Starfield video done. I don't really think it's very playable, but hey, you guys can watch the video and make your own informed decision. But in any case, that's all I got for you guys for this particular video. I hope you guys enjoyed the video, because I sure as hell enjoyed making it for you guys. And until the next video, peace out, guys.